What the? Is this thing on? Oh, hey, it is on. What's up, guys? Ronnie here. It's been a little while. It's been a little while since you may have seen a video of me on YouTube, except for my most recent video I uploaded a week ago, which was that weird one where I'm like fighting myself, and it's all about this like internal conflict. It's like, what was that all about? Well, it was inspired by the strange world we're in today, the quarantine life, the being in this world and not knowing what to do with ourselves, where many of you can probably relate to not being able to go places you normally go to train or do parkour, just to live a normal life. So it's kind of what that video was inspired by. As some of you may know or may not know, I've been diving into the world of stunts, trying to pursue a career as a stuntman, and so that's also what kind of inspired that video. It's a little bit different than my usual parkour or stunt videos. It's all just about the fight and trying to express a little bit more emotion and storytelling in the fight, where I can only fight myself because I can't really get together with people and do fight scenes. So anyways, I've decided to start doing a new format of video amidst this climate of the world we're currently in. And I'm starting out with this one. This is going to be a video that's going to look back at some of the footage I've filmed of doing indoor parkour that you can use to help inspire you to train if you're living the quarantine life. But before we jump into that, I also wanted to get requests from you guys on the types of videos you'd like to see from me in this format. One of my ideas is to look back at some of my old videos and just kind of talk about them, go into depth a little bit about what my mindset was going into it. Now, I know some of my old videos do have behind the scenes videos with them, so you get a pretty good look at the behind the scenes of those videos, but some of the videos I don't have the behind the scenes of, and I'd love to just talk more about them, how I trained and prepared, or the mindset I had to go into wearing a silly costume to do those videos. Whatever it is, I'd love to talk about it and just dive a little bit more in depth. So let me know what videos that I've done in the past you'd like to see me talk about, and I'll include clips from them as well as behind the scenes clips and whatever questions you guys have about them. And also, just if you have any other video ideas that I can do in this format, it's a bit easier to do since I can't do my traditional parkour videos going out into the world or in gyms like I normally would. So let me know what you guys think. But otherwise, for today's video, we're going to be talking about training indoors during quarantine life. So what I personally have been doing is a lot of just conditioning, exercising for now, a lot of body weight workouts, calisthenics. I have this fun little freestanding apparatus I use for pull-ups, dips, attaching bands to it for different types of exercises, and then a bunch of just equipment. I have rings that I can use to attach to this, and even besides that, there's still just your basic flat ground body weight exercises, push-ups, handstands, all that good stuff. Even if you can't train parkour right now, the least you can do is stay in shape, keep some of your coordination and strength and flexibility by training these things and stretching. Right now is a perfect time to get really good at stretching. If you're just watching Netflix or playing video games, why not sit there and do the splits or touch your toes or do something to keep your body active and mobile. During this time it might be harder to do that, but we can get creative and still come up with ways to do it. Now, there are still some ways you can train parkour indoors. I personally can't show you here because the apartment I live in is very flimsy and we live on the top floors, so it'll cause a lot of noise to our downstairs neighbors. They've already complained about some of the things I've been doing up here, particularly my last video I filmed in my office, and also my kids running and jumping around. So anyways, that's another story, but I do have a lot of old footage of me training indoors inside my house. So I'm gonna go dive into some of that and let you guys know what some things are you can do to actually do parkour indoors. So this first footage came from a video I filmed while doing a 30-day parkour challenge 2 years ago, and I wanted to demonstrate indoor ways of doing parkour, especially because it was during winter and sometimes it's hard to go out and do parkour in the snow. And so here I'm just demonstrating some ways you can train using couches, the ground, doing rolls, palm spins, cartwheels. You know, you can incorporate just furniture into the way you move. Just make sure that you don't break your couches, that whatever you're doing on them, they're sturdy, and especially if they're your parents' couches. I also had an open counter, which allowed me to do simple cash vaults over it. I also just like practicing handstands, walking around the house, getting better at keeping balance and building strength in my arms. And then here's just some flat ground tricks you can practice. Also, these tricks I'm doing are meant to minimize sound because I still lived on a top floor apartment here, and so everything I'm doing, I'm trying to minimize sound while also being able to train and work movements. Now this is a unique feature of this apartment, was I was able to practice on these sturdy beams, the spider climb, or wedging my body between them to do that Ninja Warrior style wall climb. So now this next video footage is an old one. It's probably from the early days of my YouTube channel, and once again I'm doing a tutorial on training indoors, and in this environment I'm actually in an unfinished basement, which allowed for a little bit more flexibility in my training. At the beginning of this I'm demonstrating how I just use a simple skateboarding grinding handrail for practicing balancing and precision jump techniques. Then I proceed to find a small desk that I can use for vaults and palm spins and other jumps over. And with objects like this desk, just be sure to make sure it's sturdy and whatever you're doing over it isn't going to be tipping it over. And one of my favorite classic training methods is to just find an old mattress, especially if it's a spring one. Might help give you a little bit of extra bounce practicing flips, but having a mattress just to crash on and land on is a great way to work on tricks when you don't have a gym to go to. Or even if you don't have an old mattress you can just throw on the floor. I still liked using my queen size bed for doing vaults and rolls and bounces over and on top of. And once again, just make sure that your bed can take it and that you're not going to break it. I also found these 2x4s in the basement here that I just used for practicing precision jumps. A simple way to just work on my jumping and precision. I even had a weird makeshift pull-up bar here because I had no way of attaching one of those door hang pull-up bars to any door in that basement. And finally, the last video footage I wanted to show you actually comes from this mock-up Doritos commercial my friend Zeb Jackson and I made as a way to submit for this contest. And it's a pretty short commercial, so I'll just show you the whole thing. But once again, it had some creative parkour movements inside a house, depending on what your house is like.
How do you keep your husband from watching football all the time? Watch this.
Dude, where you going?
Back to us, everybody. Great game of football here today.
Amazing athleticism right there.
So there are just a few ideas to help give you some inspiration for your own parkour training indoors. Let me know in the comments what ideas you have come up with for training parkour indoors, and also be sure to let me know what future videos you'd like to see from me in this format. So that's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you next time.